Hi there. So I'm back after some time off, and I wanted to start by sharing with you this story, this like reflection that I had a couple of days ago, and it was because I was actually watching this Roger Federer documentary on his last couple of days on tour um, before he retired from tennis. I love tennis so much. I am the biggest Roger Federer fan. I remember when I was in high school, waking up at like 3 a.m. to watch him play in Australia and doing all sorts of things like that for a lot of years. Um, so then I remember when I moved to Europe, I got the chance to see him play live, and thank God I saw him at least once in Madrid. And in 2022, when he announced that he was retiring from tennis, he announced that his last match was going to be in the Laver Cup, and that was going to happen in London. And you know what? I was watching that documentary and crying again. If you're a tennis fan, you will remember that moment of Roger and Rafa like sitting next to each other and both of them like crying their hearts out. I was just crying as if that would happen again. And I had this feeling that I feel and I know I've been working really hard to avoid lately, and that is regret. So today I want to talk to you about regrets. So in 2022, I was still living in Barcelona. I had this normal-ish job, and yeah, I wasn't making a ridiculous amount of money, but it was good enough. I was comfortable enough. I was living alone and doing some trips, living abroad a couple of months a year, working remotely. So it was pretty good. And I remember when the Laver Cup thing started coming out, I remember looking at the tickets and just going back and forth and like overthinking and doing like all the pros and cons lists and analysis, and finally deciding not to go. I could honestly have gone there. I could have made that happen, but I decided to do the logical thing, the responsible thing. I chose not to go, not to spend that amount of money on that, and yeah, just to kind of like play it safe. And honestly, I have forgotten about that for many years. And watching that documentary again, I realized that I really regret not going there. And that got me thinking about regrets, and that got me thinking about how, even sometimes more unconsciously than not, I actually started to live my life trying to minimize regrets. And yes, I had a few moments in my life of things that I wish I'd have done and I didn't, because most of the times because I play it safe. I wanted to be, again, the responsible one, the good girl, the girl that does things the way that everyone expects her to do. And in this case, I remember like so vividly like watching that last match in my apartment in Barcelona, crying a lot because it was like so emotional, the whole thing. And yeah, just kind of like beating myself up for not being there. And the thing is, what I realized a couple of years from now is that most of the times I would regret most, the most, just not going, not trying, not doing whatever it is that I want to do, than to actually doing it. And it's kind of sad because how many times we miss opportunities, we miss connections, we miss to experience things, we miss moments because we don't take those chances, because we don't put ourselves out there, because we don't risk it a little bit, because we want to play it safe. And this applies not only to like an event and something that you have to spend money on. This applies to everything. This applies to relationships. Oh my God. I have like a beautiful example. In 2022, I was, at the beginning of 2022, I was in Rio, just for like a few months. And I had a friend's wedding there. They weren't my best friends, but all my best friends were going to be in that wedding. And I remember again going back and forth with like, should I go? Should I just stay? It didn't make a lot of sense. Like the tickets were kind of expensive just for a weekend. And it was right after my birthday. At some point, I had one of my friends telling me like, hey, I'm just gonna say this, you do whatever you want, but you're gonna regret it more if you don't come. You can't make the money again. And I remember him saying that, and I'm like, you know what, you're right. And like, I really appreciate you saying that, because most people will say like, it's okay, don't worry, no, don't bother yourself. But sometimes you have to bother yourself to show up and to make things happen. So I ended up going there, and that was like a few days after my serious birthday, yes. And not only did I have an amazing time, of course, at the wedding with my friends, of course, that was like not even a question, but I also got to celebrate my birthday with all of my family, with my mom, and that got to be the last birthday that I celebrated with her. And also, after I left Argentina in 2017, I never got to celebrate my birthday again with my family and with my closest friends from there. There was such a special moment, and that wasn't even on the plan. But it's something that ended up happening because I say yes to that, because I decided to take that chance to do something that I knew that I was going to regret later if I didn't do it. And again, it wasn't the most comfortable or the choice that make the most sense. But it ended up being one of the best things that I did. It ended up giving me one of the memories that I hold like more dearly in my heart up until today, like that last birthday. So for me, like after all those experiences, after a lot of things that happened in my life, that, yeah, are not like the point of this video, but I started like making these choices more consciously. I started like more consciously asking myself, why would I regret the most? And the answer is always the same. I always think about that. I always think about my future self and what would she regret the most in everything. Like even, I also apply this to even like romantic relationships. Why would I regret the most? Trying this, opening my heart, and maybe like having the chance of getting it broken again, or just playing it safe and not even trying. And I always rather have disappointments or like getting my heart broken or like spending a lot of money or trying something that is not gonna work out, of going to a place or whatever, than having that thought of like, oh, I should have done that. I regret not doing that. So yeah, if there's something in your life right now that you're on the fence about doing it or not, think about this. Think about your future self. What would she regret the most? Because honestly, like most of the things, of the amazing things that come in your life are when you say yes. They come to life when you say yes. They come to life when you try things, when you decide to maybe do the thing that is not the most comfortable one, or it's not like the most reasonable or responsible choice, but it's something that you actually really want to do and that you feel in your heart that you should be doing. So yes, I encourage you to go and try and do an experience, whatever it is that you desire, because time doesn't come back. And yeah, we only have one life. And I know that's like a cliche thing, but it's a cliche because it's true. It's so true. To go out there, try things out, experience. You always have time to figure things out later. So yeah, I hope this video found you if you are in that position. And yes, my name is Candela. I'm a self-love mindset coach, and I'm here now back again daily to inspire you, to give you my tips, my knowledge about living a life that feels like yours and that it's loving towards yourself. So if that resonates, follow along and see you around.